Hey there. I have been using my top 10 online marketing checklist to generate leads for years. And I generated this list based on the experience and insights I've cultivated since 2009 as an SEO expert, WordPress website designer, digital marketer, brand consultant, and content marketing strategies. And I prioritize that checklist so that the number one thing is what I prioritize over anything else. And everything else falls into place based on that number 1, 2, 3, whatever. And I've been doing it for so long, I see the patterns and I understand what needs to happen first, especially so that my clients can understand the process as well and build those foundational blocks for success. So today I'm on to the number 4 thing that most small business owners and solopreneurs miss entirely or don't prioritize, and that thing is a heavy focus on lead generation. That's today's topic. But before I dive into that, my name is Liz Garcia. I'm your happy, insightful, and perceptive host of AthenaArenaRadio.com. Welcome to episode 13 of the Athena Arena podcast, which is the content and digital marketing strategy academy for aspiring 6, 7, and 8-figure, what I call Wonder Woman brands and mastering your own inner game. And for all you brilliant men out there, don't be fooled by the whole Wonder Woman thing. This is meant for you too. So let's get to today's topic. Do you need to generate more leads for your business, and would you like to do it online? Without leads, there's no way to convert prospects into customers and secure new revenue. And there's tons of ways to generate leads offline, but online seems to be a lot more efficient and targeted and effective than, say, business networking groups, as an example. Referrals are great ways, but how do you get people to refer you besides doing great work? And I know plenty of businesses out there that don't need to generate leads at all because they're so well aligned with their ideal customers and do great work. That's really the way to go. So in the absence of that, especially if you're new, lead generation should be your top priority because it helps increase conversions and build long-term customer relationships. And just so you know, the customers that you have currently are 10 to 20 times more likely to buy from you again than a brand new lead. And all of us, the lower mind in all of us just wants to have more and more leads as opposed to having a few high-quality customers that just keep buying more and more of what we offer and referring their friends. By understanding how to generate leads effectively, you can learn more about the needs of your target audience and create campaigns that will help drive sales. Now, where lead generation can become daunting is knowing where to begin. You could go straight for the jugular and drive leads directly to a sales page, or you can nurture them to build that know, like, and trust factor you've likely heard of many times before. Now, on a slightly off topic, but it is related to lead generation, I am also what's called an affiliate marketer, and the companies that I partner with share their best strategies with me. So I know, how should I spend my time supporting I help support online courses over at the Mind, Body, Spirit Network, and I cultivate really interested online courses related to mind, body, spirit, transformation, personal growth and development, mastering your inner game, essentially. And many of the partners will share their best, what's working, what's not working in their business, so that I, as an affiliate marketer, know how to proceed. And they have all of them say that leads that convert to sales at a higher rate came into the sales funnel via a nurturing lead magnet, like a mini video training series as an example, they don't convert as high when affiliates drive traffic directly to a sales page as an example. So you're trying to hit a home run when you just want to drive traffic to a sales page, and you're missing out on such a significant amount of targeted traffic and potential customers when you bypass the nurturing phase of lead generation. And I subscribe to Neil Patel's blog, and I use his tools for research and stuff because he is a highly regarded digital marketer. And he's like, when you understand the significance of generating leads and why they're so valuable, you'll stop trying to drive people directly to a sales page because you'll lose them. You can lose them. Like if you're spending money driving paid ads to a sales page and you're not capturing a lead, you're losing out big time because, first of all, if they came to the page, they have somewhat interest in what you're doing, but then they'll leave it if they're forced into a buy when you could have captured their lead and offered something for them to take with them, valuable piece of content that they could put into action right away and then start bringing them into your other offerings. So that's kind of just a quickie you want to consider. And Neil, who's a huge digital marketer, more advanced than I am, is like, when you understand this, you'll start paying a lot of money for a lead when you understand their long-term value and not just the quick buck you may be trying to make right now. So how can you effectively generate leads on your website? And this is where I've been doing. My work started as a search engine optimized WordPress website designer way back in 2009. This is where I began. And I don't know that I was pressing people to capture leads back then. We were keeping it pretty basic. And a lot of customers were, they were kind of low-end budget solopreneur types that didn't have the money to spend necessarily on developing a lead generation strategy. And today that's all changed because people understand, and I understand, that you've got to develop a strategy around everything that you do and not just jump into things blindly because there's way so much time and effort and money involved in doing that. So an effective way to capture more leads is to set up an opt-in forms, or landing pages right on your website. It allows you to promote your lead magnets, which is going to be next week's topic. I wanted to dive deeper into lead magnets because not everyone knows what they are or how to go about creating effective ones. And I'm going to share my experience with hundreds of lead magnets that I've made over the years and what to look for and understand if they're working or not. And just for those of you who are not familiar with lead magnets, they're really any piece of content that you offer in exchange for an email address. And you see it at almost every website you go to. There's a pop-up window that says, hey, I'll give you a discount, or hey, here's my starter kit to content marketing strategy, or hey, take this quiz, right? So there's all kinds of lead magnets that we'll discuss more next week, and we'll share some that convert really well. So lead magnets are highly specific and relevant to what your well-researched prospect is looking for. And if you haven't done any research on your prospects, you're going to miss. There'll be a miss, and you'll be like, why is nobody opting in? Well, maybe you didn't do your homework well enough. So you want to make sure this form is visible and easy to fill out. Additionally, include a relevant image and clear copy so visitors understand precisely what they're signing up for. And if you have done your homework, then you will have likely discovered great lead magnet ideas that could be specific to 2 or 3 potential clients. And just as an example, my website, the Athena Arena, has several potential clients. So there's not one lead magnet, though my top 10 online marketing checklist is kind of a one-size-fits-all lead magnet to an extent. As an example, the Athena Arena has several potential clients, and they are people that want to launch an online business and learn how to do it. They just want to start a business and they want it to start it online. And then there are people that already have an offline business but want to market it better online. So I'm looking for people that don't want to take online courses, marketing courses, and better understand how to do that on their own if they're do-it-yourselfers. Then lower on my list, because I'm shifting my business to be more of an online teaching and digital course academy than doing hands-on services anymore, but people that want a new website or website redesign, they need some personal branding consulting, they need some developing a content marketing strategy, which I really love to do. That's one of my favorite things to do. Each one of these types is a potential prospect who would need to be led down a different path. So the lead magnet for each one of these is different. It's not going to be the same one. And ideally, you want to drive traffic, say, from social media that calls out like someone who wants to launch an online business, as an example. There would be some headline topic, a little bit of written content, and then the link for this lead magnet would go to a landing page specific to people that want to launch an online business, as an example. So you really need to think about this carefully when developing your lead magnet strategy. And an even more advanced topic is knowing where in the sales funnel that lead is coming from. And I don't want to daunt you with the details of this, but I just want to make you aware of it, that you, as a more advanced marketer, which you may or may not ever become, you'll hire someone else to do some of this stuff for you. And someone like a strategist like me would help you understand, all right, where do we want to begin? Do we want to be at the top of the funnel where you're just building brand awareness? Or do you need to create some type of content for people at the bottom of the funnel that are already ready to pull the trigger on a sale? So there's a sales process and a lead generation strategy you want to think through with each lead magnet. So next up in this process is to identify your ideal customer profile and research the personas of people that would be your ideal customer. And it really is essential to know exactly who you're trying to reach before implementing a lead generation strategy. Let me tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, 2009, that's 14 years I've been doing this. And lead generation is a time and money consuming activity. And when you spend all this time and money on one particular lead magnet that you didn't really think about, and you wonder why it's not working, you'd be like, crud, I should have done some research. I should have got some help to get me started and mapped out a strategy before you dive in to create them, because there's a lot involved in generating leads, which we're going to get to. So identifying an ideal customer profile and associated personas, which I just described to you in the Athena Arena, what it is I'm looking for, what's the ideal customer and persona. And a persona, as an example, I told you what the ideal customer is, but even more deeply is I'm looking for someone who's willing to accept they're the creator of their own experience and take responsibility for all choices that they make and master their inner game. So this is like a persona beyond just the basics, like exactly who I help. I go a little bit deeper into what their underlying kind of motivations and intentions are. So when you identify your ideal customer profile and persona, it's the best way to ensure that you create content and campaigns tailored specifically to your target audience. And again, why guess? Why not know where the lowest hanging fruit is in this whole process? So you do need to take some time to create detailed profiles and sketches of your ideal customers so that you can market directly to them. And if you've identified a particular persona and you know what their likes and interests are that may be different from a separate one, you're going to map out a different path. Like you may have someone, let's just say there's a persona that just is a go-getter, get things done, put me into action now, which that sales funnel is going to be short and quick because they just want to get going and get started, versus someone who needs to be nurtured along. Like they're concerned about the cost of something. Do they have to consult with somebody else? If you're dealing with a client that's family oriented, you got to get the kids on board, perhaps the husband or the wife on board. There are other elements to that sales funnel you got to think through and map out, like what are the obstacles, what are the objections, this type of thing. This is what you really want to think through, and this is really mastering your inner game as a marketer to identify and be conscientious about generating lead magnets. Know why you're generating them, know who you're generating them for, and know what you intend the outcome to be. Where is it going to lead them? Make sure you're clear, because if you're not clear and you hadn't thought about it, they're not going to know where you're leading them either. They'll be like, and they'll feel it. They're like, I don't know where this is headed, right? And they just may stop opening up your emails, as an example. So to go through this process, which really is becoming a master marketer, if you want to do this yourself, and I do recommend that you do some of this at least through 1, 2, or 3 of your lead generation, your lead magnets, so that you start to align with your intention to serve the highest good of this customer you're inviting into your world. And this concerted effort will help ensure that all your efforts in terms of targeting and segmentation are successful. Now, the last step, just so you know, this is really just basics. This is lead generation basics. And I always leave opportunity to when I add on to this down the future, because list building, lead generation is a huge topic of the entire courses are built around. And we're going to just touch on kind of more advanced topics a little bit at a time, just so you start to get it and understand what the map looks like. So the final part of this lead generation thing is to use email automation for targeted campaigns. You've got to find some sort of email marketing service provider. I use MailChimp, Kajabi. Other companies out there are like Aweber, ConvertKit, MailerLite. There's tons of them, and they all basically do the same thing. MailChimp has become really an advanced marketing tool for me. I do like it, but it is more advanced, but you don't have to use all of their tools. And ConvertKit has been highly regarded online marketers because they've sort of branded themselves towards solopreneurs and coaches, and they have some great tools for starter kits, great starter kits to get you started in understanding the whole lead generation process. So email automation is a powerful lead generation tool because once someone signs up on an opt-in form, it triggers an email automation that can then nurture that potential customer. Depending on the lead magnet, that email nurture campaign is going to take that particular customer persona, whoever it may be, down a particular path. So my lead generation for someone who wants to take one of my training courses is going to be very different than one who wants me to do a content marketing strategy for them. So you speak differently to each one. And if you set up that email automation properly, it can deliver the right messages to users at specific points in their journey during marketing campaigns or after filling out digital forms or what's known as opt-in forms. It's kind of what I just said, but saying it in a little different way. And you can tailor content for each recipient and deliver personalized, appropriate messages by automating emails. And this will help you build relationships with leads and nurture them down the funnel without having to send emails back and forth to people, as an example. Or eventually you want to get on a phone with them, but that email nurture campaign could answer a lot of questions before they get on a phone call with you, and the phone conversation is really the final straw where they're getting ready to make the buy. They want to get to know you on the phone or a video conference call and then decide that they want to join you or not. Now, I put together a little cheat sheet for you to use called the Ultimate Guide to Successful Lead Generation. You can keep this handy while you're developing a lead generation strategy, which I highly recommend that you do before diving into any lead magnet, before developing any lead magnet, develop a strategy around all of them. And ensure that you cover all of your bases and understand what they are. This is what this Ultimate Guide to Successful Lead Generation is going to have handy for you, so that you don't have to try to find this podcast or a blog post or whatever. It's right there on your desktop. You grab it, print it out if you want, and when you start doing your lead generation strategy, you refer to it so you make sure you're covering all your bases. Now, you can download this Ultimate Guide at theathenaarena.com/UGLG, and that's for Ultimate Guide Lead Generation, UGLG. And there will be, it's all one word, and there will be a link to this at the top of the page in the podcast show notes. You don't have to remember all of this, and I certainly don't want you to do it if you're driving in the car. Unless you can talk to Siri into it, and Siri can find it for you. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I created for you today. I hope you'll find it helpful. Next week, instead of a Mastering Your Inner Game episode, I want to continue this conversation, and we're going to talk about lead magnets. And we'll discuss the significance of those. What are they? What can they look like? How do they work? How do I know if they're working or not? If they're not working, what could be the problem? We're going to cover lots of goodies because I've been working with lead magnets for a long time. Thank you for joining me today. Rate and review this podcast if you find it helpful, and it helps me to get found in those algorithms on Apple Podcasts for people looking for business and marketing podcasts just like this one. I'll see you next week.